हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीरा वनचार्य। जमुना तीरा वनचार्य। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीरा वनचार्य। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimati His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimati His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Bhagwan Ki. श्री श्री गौनिताय चंद्र भगवान की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की. हरे कृष्ण. Hare Krishna. This morning we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishriki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. This morning we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled The Creation of Fourth Order, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, also known as Rudra Geetam. Text 56. Yatra Nirvishtam Aranam Kritanto Nabhi Manyate Vishvam Vidvamshayan Virya Shaurya Vishurjita Bhruva Yatra Nirvishtam Aranam Yatra Nirvishtam Aranam Kritanto Nabhimanyate कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा यत्र निर्विष्टमारणं कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा यत्र निर्विष्टमारणं कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा. Please recite. यत्र निर्विष्टमारणं विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा यत्र निर्विष्टमरणं कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते विश्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा यत्र निर्विष्टमरणं कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा. Anybody from Vaishnavis? यत्र इष्टमरणं कृतान्तो नाभिमन्यते विद्वं विद्वांसयन् वीर्या शौर्याविस्फूर्जिता भ्रुवा. We'll see word to word meaning. Yatra, wherein, nirvishtamarannam, a completely surrendered soul. Kritanta, invincible time. Nabhimanyate, does not go to attack. Vishwam, the entire universe. Vidvamshayan, by vanquishing. Virya, prowess. Shaurya, influence. Visfurjita, simply by expansion. Bhruva, of the eyebrows. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Simply by expansion of his eyebrows, invincible time personified can immediately vanquish the entire universe. However, formidable time does not approach the devotee who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet. Please recite the translation in response. Simply by expansion of his eyebrows, invincible time personified can immediately vanquish the entire universe. However, formidable time does not approach the devotee who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet. In Bhagavad Gita 10.34, it is said that the Lord in the shape and the form of death destroys all a person's possessions. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am all devouring death. The Lord in the shape of death takes away everything that is created by conditioned soul. Everything in this material world is subject to perish in due course of time. However, all the strength of time cannot hamper the activities of a devotee. For a devotee takes complete shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. For this reason, only is a devotee free from formidable time. All the activities of the karmis and gyanis, which have no touch with devotional service, are spoiled in due course of time. The material success of the karmis is destined to be destroyed. Similarly, the impersonal realization attained by gyanis is also destroyed by the course of time. Arohya krutchena param padam tataha patanti adho nandrita yushmad angrihi. Bhagavatam 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 32nd verse. To say nothing of the karmis, the gyanis undergo severe austerities to attain impersonal Brahmajyoti. But because they do not find the lotus feet of the Lord, they fall down again in the material existence. Unless one is fully situated in unalloyed devotional service, there is no guarantee of liberation, even if one is elevated to heavenly planets or to the impersonal Brahman effulgence. A devotee's achievement, however, is not lost by the influence of time. Even if a devotee cannot completely execute devotional service, in his next life he begins from the point where he left off. Such an opportunity is not given to karmis and gyanis, whose achievements are destroyed. The bhakta's achievement is never destroyed, for it goes on perpetually, be it complete or incomplete. This is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. Suchinam Srimatang Gehe Yogo Bhrashto Bijayate. If one is unable to complete the process of Bhakti Yoga, he is given a chance in his next life to take birth in the pure devotee's family or in a rich family. In such family, a person can have a good opportunity to further progress in devotional service. When Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, was instructing his assistants, he told them not to approach the devotees. The devotees should be offered respect, he said, but do not go near them. Thus, the devotees of the Lord are not under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is a representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead and he controls the death of every living entity. Yet, he has nothing to do with devotees. Simply by blinking his eyes, time personified can destroy the entire cosmic manifestation. But he has nothing to do with a devotee. In other words, devotional service which is rendered by the devotee in this lifetime can never be destroyed by time. Such spiritual assets remain unchanged, being beyond the influence of time. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gunun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I first of all seek blessings of all the assembled devotees, in particular His Grace Anandmay Prabhu, so that we can discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam. And here in this particular section, we are hearing Lord Shiva offering prayers in front of Prachetas in a way to train them and also to give them philosophy of Krishna consciousness, how Krishna's supremacy is the ultimate truth in this material world. So whenever devotees speak about the glories of the Lord, they speak about the beautiful form of the Lord. Just like Lord Shiva has done in past few verses. He has described about how there are lines of marks on the body of the Lord, this beautiful navel, etc. Various beautiful limbs of the Lord. So generally as devotees we should be attracted by the personal features of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita also, there are various descriptions of how Lord is so very beautiful. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Even thousands and thousands of Cupid keep on gazing upon Supreme Personality of Godhead's various limbs, and they always feel amazed that how is it that the Lord is so beautiful. Especially his eyes are so big. It extends till almost till the ears. And when Lord blinks his eyes, it is so very beautiful to see the blinking of the eyes. Likewise, the way Lord walks, various various limbs of the Lords are so very beautiful. Now, having described the beauty of the personal features of the Lord, Lord Shiva is now also giving some attention to something which is not so very beautiful form of the Lord. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, the form of Krishna is very, very beautiful. But the Lord also showed that I have a very fearsome form also, the universal form of the Lord. Very, very fearsome form. So Lord has both the forms. Very, very beautiful form and also very, very fearsome form. So for devotees, Lord manifests his beautiful form. And for non-devotees, he manifests his fearsome form. So one of the form of the Supreme Lord which is fearful or fearsome is Kala. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in the form of time, I destroy everything. This is in 11th chapter, and also here in 10th chapter, in the form of death, Krishna also tells that I destroy everything. Because whenever there is a destruction happens, the whole scenario is very, very fearful or very, very sorrowful. Just like when Yudhishthira Maharaj at the end of 18th day, or rather after completion of entire battle, he saw the whole scenario from Kurukshetra. So many people died in this battle. He was so morseful. He was so unhappy that how come such a war has happened between two families. Ideally, when Dhritarashtra and Pandu, being good brothers, they should be living in great harmony. From generations, Hastinapur had been trying to have more progeny so that the kingdom is protected from outside attackers. Because Shantanu's son was Bhishma, he did not got married, and then his other sons Chitrangad, Vichitravir died untimely. Then again no heirs, and somehow Dhritarashtra and Pandu were born, only two sons to maintain the entire planet. So then finally they had 105 children. So ideally they should have lived in harmony and progressed in their kingdom. But unfortunately such an instance happened when two family members fought. So when Bhishma was speaking his realizations to Yudhishthira, he also said that, Yudhishthira, don't think that it is because of few things have happened. Because Yudhishthira was trying to feel that maybe because I had that greed of ruling this entire planet as Chakravarti, as the sole and the final king of the entire planet, maybe because of that desire, this whole battle has happened. And Bhishma Pitamaha was telling that I am living from 3 generations, my dear Yudhishthira, and I consider this whole act of battle of Kurukshetra as influence of time. By influence of time. So definitely influence of time is very, very powerful. Nobody can say that I am beyond the influence of time. A moment lost is lost forever. Like for example, if you lose some money in some business, you can again earn money in a different means. Similarly, if you lose something of this material world, you can again achieve it back. But if you lose a moment, a time, you can never get it back. So many people, when they grow up, they have this anchoring that I want to grow up once again. Let me become small child once again. Be without anxieties in our life. But that is not possible. That is the influence of time. Nobody can say that, okay, today is what? 17th of July 2023. Nobody can say today and say that I want one day back in my life. Can't we go back to 16th of July, Sunday? No. You can change the display of your watch, but the actual time does not go back. So that is the strong influence of time. Just as nobody can stop death from coming. So many foolish scientists sometimes have brayed, saying that we will stop the death one day. But nobody is successful till date. Not even one exception. Like there are, I believe, 750 crore population of human beings on this planet. Not even one human being they have stopped from death. So that is a strong influence of Kala. So how does Kala work in this material world? Just like somebody is very angry, like somebody is very happy, we can easily identify by his smile. He will smile very nicely, right? Somebody who is angry, he will stretch out his eyebrows like this. Or amazement. Amazement also he can stretch his eyebrows. But generally when somebody is angry, he stretches out his eyebrows like this. So here, Lord Shiva is impressing on the fact that when Supreme Lord in the form of Kala becomes angry, he can destroy the entire universe in splash of time. Just like when the end of Kalpas happen, when the Satyuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga and Kali Yuga complete their cycle of 1,000 times, when the day of Brahma ends, the whole inundation happens. And that inundation, the vision of that inundation is also very, very fearsome. We know from the Bhagavatam, at one point of time, Maitreya Rishi, not Maitreya Rishi, who is the Markandeya Rishi, he wanted to see how the destruction happens. Like generally, Brahma is a kind of person who wants to see how creation happens. It is little bit okay to have that curiosity to see how creation happens. It is very interesting. But if you have a curiosity to know how the destruction happens, it is very, very fearful. Markandeya Rishi had to wait for a very long time till the end of Kalpas happened. And then when he saw that huge waters are gushing, and sometimes fire, the water is entering into the fire, and fire is just destroying the whole planetary systems. So seeing that, Markandeya Rishi offered prayers to the Supreme Lord. My dear Supreme Lord, you are very great. And all that destruction in a moment of time just vanquished in the mouth of small baby Krishna. And he was very surprised to see how Krishna, being very small, very tender, he manifested all this in front of him. So that is the energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one should never ever aspire to see such kind of fearful form of the Lord. Because that fearful form of the Lord is for non-devotees, for those who are unfaithful to the Supreme Lord. But we, as devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should always aspire to see the beautiful form of Shri Shri Madan Mohan Ji. Similarly, we see even Arjuna, who is a great friend of Krishna, he became very fearful by seeing the form of the Lord. He said, my hairs are standing on end. I am fearful, crying, shivering. Please don't show this form. So sometimes we have to remind people that Supreme Lord also has fearful form. Because people sometimes feel that the Supreme Lord is not very powerful. So sometimes when only Supreme Lord shows a powerful, in a way it is horrifying. Only then people will believe the strength of the Supreme Lord. So here, Lord Shiva is telling that generally when the destruction happens, we know it is an act of Lord Shiva. Of course, Lord Shiva is being orchestrated by Lord Krishna to act in a certain way, to destroy. But for Lord Shiva to destroy, there is something called as Tandava Nrityam. By the dance of Supreme Lord's or Lord Shiva's dance, the whole universe gets destroyed. So for Lord Shiva to destroy, it takes little bit more effort. But for Krishna, if he wants to destroy, it doesn't take as much as this. Spread your eyebrows. That's it. So here it says, but just by expansion of eyebrows, this word used here is Vispurjita Bhruva. Vispurjita Bhruva means expanding his eyebrows. Now here the word used for Supreme Lord's invincible form is Kritanta, where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur uses this word to be as death. Prabhupada uses it to be as invincible time. And Prabhupada immediately in the purport mentions about death also. So Kritanta means there is no remedy for it. Just like when we get a disease, or sometimes when we get even epidemics, we are influenced by epidemics, there is always a cure. We get fever, we get cough, we get cold, we get various diseases in this material world. For some disease, at least there is some cure. Kritanta means the influence of such a this thing does not have any cure. No, nobody, like when there was COVID, all were running for vaccination centers because they were fearful of death. But death will anyways come. Nobody is coming to the vaccination center. Here in Krishna conscious centers, we are giving that vaccination that no more death. But not many people are interested. You see, of 750 crore people, only 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs are interested in this vaccination. What is this vaccination? Why people tell that devotees are beyond the influence of time? We see that devotees are also dying. We see devotees are also dying. What is that vaccination for? What is that protection Lord is giving is the devotional realization you have by practicing devotional service. That is never lost. Like for example, now you may be a very big person, businessman, you may have 10 bungalows, you may be having some bank balance like 100 crore rupees. You die and take birth again. You can never claim what you have done in your previous life. You can never claim. Like, you cannot go to the bank that in past life I have invested this. Please give me back. He will give as many slaps you have invested in that bank. But devotional service is not like that. We all have experience when we are preaching Krishna consciousness. Even though somebody may be apparently very new to Krishna consciousness, the moment he comes to Krishna consciousness, he will immediately take up 16 rounds. For him to follow all the rules and regulations, to serve devotees, to serve the deities of the Lord is not at all difficult. Whereas a person who is struggling from 10-15 years, he will still have difficulty in dealing with devotees in a particular way. So that goes to show that in the past life he has done great devotional service. It's just covered. It is not lost. The devotional realization you have is never lost. It only gets covered even if you incompletely do in this life. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Suchinam Shrimatang Gehe Yogo Bhrashto Bijayate. Those people who couldn't complete their devotional service in this life, in the next life they are born into very, very great families. Prabhupada in that particular verse in Bhagavad Gita says that even Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, they both were born to a great Vaishnava families. So somebody who is a great devotee in this particular context, if you want to speak, Prabhupada says, who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet. He has no other shelter in this material world. Complete shelter means, like in this material world we have so many shelters. Generally an average person, for him the shelter is his family, or his bank balance, or his home, or his influence. Somebody who has faith in that as shelter can never take shelter of Supreme Lord fully. So one who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet, he is very, very fortunate person. And a person who has half done his devotional service takes birth in such kind of families. So Prabhupada was born to his parents, Gaur Mohan De, very, very devoted person. Similarly, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was born to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So in that sense, devotional service is never lost, even if you die in this life. When you come to Krishna consciousness, Krishna immediately awards you that realization in next life also. And he gives you a very wonderful chance to progress. Who other than such a person we should worship other than that? Like for example, when we work in a company, if at the end of the month, if the boss says that I will not give you salary, it is a cheating. But in karmis and jnanis, they don't know that we are doing so much hard work, but in the next life it is gone. So all this process of karma yoga, jnana yoga, in one sense are cheating. When we want to derive the benefit of our hard work, it is lost. But in other case, in Krishna consciousness, we have endeavored something for practicing in Krishna consciousness. It is never lost. You come and pray to Krishna. My dear Krishna, please give me the intelligence. Please remember whatever services I have done to you. Please grant me more association of devotees and devotion service. Krishna will grant you. Krishna never forgets anything. So that is supremacy of Krishna consciousness. So here in this purport, Prabhupada speaks about so many different things. He speaks about karma yogis, he speaks about jnana yogis. Even jnana yogis, those who have not taken shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, they also fall down ultimately. So what is the use? Lord Shiva is also telling that don't ever think that by karma yoga or jnana yoga you will achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here in this particular prayer, Lord Shiva is emphasizing that only devotees are forbidden from the influence of time. In the Bhagavatam, when Shukadeva Goswami is narrating to Parikshit Maharaj in second canto, Shukadeva Goswami was in kind of very fearful situation. I have only 7 days to die. Imagine you receive a message saying that you have only 7 days. What will you do in those 7 days? So Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj when Parikshit Maharaj was in that fear that I have only 7 days. So Shukadeva Goswami is telling, Ayur Harati Vaipumsan. This is second canto, third chapter, 17th verse. Ayur Harati Vaipumsan Udayan Astan Chayannasu Tasyarte Yat Kshanonita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of all good personality of Godhead. So he's telling Parikshit Maharaj, you have conquered the whole world. You are king of the entire planet, almost. But all that will be lost by you in 7 days. But now what you do in these 7 days is always going to remain with you. So don't be fearful. Just like by rising and setting of suns, everyone's 1 day is lost. Like generally people are very happy in celebrating their birthday. They tell that I was 20 last year and now I have become 21. And they become very happy, they celebrate. They have a kind of joy and celebration. But unfortunately you see time makes a person so foolish that they don't realize that they have become 1 year closer to death. They don't have that vision. So only devotees have this vision that I have become 1 year is lost. I have not practiced Krishna consciousness seriously. So if somebody wants to celebrate their birthday or any kind of a occasion, the right mood is that in this last year I have not been so serious in Krishna consciousness. Let me be more serious in Krishna consciousness in this year. So that is the right celebration if somebody has that mood. Rather than just thinking that I have completed 1 year. Bhagavatam says, what is the use of such a great, long, lengthy life? Even trees live for such a very long life. So the time we use in Krishna consciousness, the time we use in here Srimad Bhagavatam, that is something to our eternal credit. And that eternal credit can never be lost from us. So many people, sometimes they earn hard-earned money and they try to encrypt the money so that it is not lost. And use various techniques to save the money. But by influence of time, by the influence of the rules of government, that money is somehow or other lost. Nobody can secure the money and say that this money is always going to live with me. Sometimes government takes away, sometimes your own family's member rob it away. And if nothing like that happens, death is always there to snatch everything away from you. So Lord Shiva is warning all those prachetas and through him all the devotees in Krishna consciousness not to be attached to anything that time can destroy. Be always devoted. Let your always attraction to be the beautiful form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And always engage in his devotional service. So this is what I thought we can discuss in today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Although it is a little elevated platform, but still a practitioner can, at least aspire to come to that platform by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what I thought we'll discuss. Anybody has any questions? Anybody has any comments? Please do so. Thank you all very much for giving time and attention. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.